HB 1644 FN, an act relative to the placement of telecommunication antennae and establishing a registry for residents who are experiencing biological symptoms from wireless radiation exposure.
The telecommunications industry is not waiting for our study. Without legislative guardrails, an interim study will not prevent 5G rollout. An interim study will be a moot point once the 5G genie is out of the bottle. With the replacement bill being over a year away, an interim study may conclude that there are significant health risks posed by a particular range of mid-band radiation that would be enhanced by oversaturation of tower placement. With the replacement bill being over a year away, an interim study may conclude there are significant security risks by over-reliance on Chinese technology. Huawei is the world's leading supplier of 5G technology. Our own NSA, CIA, and other U.S. intelligence agencies have concluded that if Huawei equipment is embedded, even at the edge of 5G networks, China could easily siphon data off and then cover their tracks. Without legislative oversight, there is nothing to prevent the telecommunications industry from following the same industry model they use in 4G and provide dense coverage to profitable areas while leaving vast areas of the state unserved. An interim study may show that the FTCC is an overreach by supplanting local and state zoning. This bill empowers residents and municipalities to push back on FCC, who recently lost a Court of Appeals in the D.C. Circuit Court, who called the FCC safety standards for RF radiation arbitrary and capricious.
We heard testimony from the industry's scientists that this technology is safer at a much closer distance. We heard testimony that the FCC and the FAA and international organizations have claimed that this technology was safe. However, we cannot deny that we also heard and understood testimony from medical scientists, the public, and some doctors that have seen people be affected by radio waves in various forms. The committee felt that there may be a correlation between where people live and radio waves, but we are uncertain as to potentially causation. We felt we needed more time to study this so that a proper recommendation could be made that might be acceptable to both parties.
But I also know that a thorough 300-page report by a study commission was already completed and recommended a safe distance between 5G poles and residential areas to be adhered to so that any health impacts remain negligible. And if I also know that a bipartisan amendment is available to temporarily stop 5G deployment in New Hampshire until numerous unanswered questions are addressed, and if I know that the new 5G pole deployments could require a pole deployment on every city block, generating its own electromagnetic radiation, and finally, if I further know that the proposed interim study recommendation would not even temporarily stop 5G deployment, and that the results of that study would be too late for any action to be taken, would I now press the red button to allow a motion to pass with amendment to be made so that 5G deployment can be temporarily halted in New Hampshire?
If I know that 5G is an encoding technology, not a frequency nor the power of the broadcast, if I also know that 5G is a marketing term used to indicate the next generation of cell phone and data equipment. Further, Madam Speaker, if I know that we heard testimony from individuals who say that certain frequencies make them ill, but other sources testified that this claim is the result of misinformation. Lastly, Madam Speaker, if I know that the claims of illness concerned us enough to not want to kill the bill, but further study the issue and hear more counter-arguments from the scientists who dispel the claims, would I then press the green button and send House Bill 1644 to interim study? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question on the floor is to send HB 1644 to interim study. If you are in favor, you will press the green button. If you are opposed, you will press the red button. With 245 yeas, 104 nays, the bill would be sent to interim study.